Hi, I'm Lunarcraft and I'm here to present this week's AstroTarot predictions. And just at the moment, Sagittarius, you're in my sight. So, as normal, I will start off with the general astrological information and then move on to the tarot cards. But before I get into the astrology bit, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that yes, the planets are moving. They are moving into the positions where we want them to be. But their influence actually will really start to take effect in the new year, in 2022. And while I mentioned 2022, I will be here in a couple of weeks' time doing extended presentations of AstroTarot for 2022. Okay, now we are still under the influence, although it is waning, of the new moon solar eclipse in your sign. And we have a lot to thank you for, Sagittarius, because it's meaning new beginnings for an awful lot of us. It's also giving many of us the opportunity to close down a situation that we've been juggling with since May of this year. But even better than that is Sagittarius's influence of bringing us great optimism, a lot of hope for the future. So thank you. Now, I know I've spoken about Neptune and Venus previously. Both of them are still having an influence. I'll address Neptune first. Neptune is the master of illusion, meaning that you can't just accept what you see as being accurate or true. Be prepared to carry out some research just to check things out. Make sure. What it also means is that December 2021 now is not a particularly good time for making major decisions or major changes. Moving on to Virgo. No, not Virgo, Venus. She is still being active and having influence on our relationships. All relationships, not just romance, but every which way. And what it means, because she's moving into her retrograde path just this week, our relationships are going to be changing. I can't think of a better word. However, working alongside of Venus is Chiron. Chiron is the site of healing. And what is very likely going to happen is that unresolved issues from previous romantic relationships will bubble up to the top, and you will be given the opportunity to deal with them once and for all, to package them, to heal from them, to store them away. They live in the past and will not have any influence over you in the future. That means you can move forwards with a great deal of confidence. So, yeah, it's all good. Now, with the new moon solar eclipse in your sign, you have probably been experiencing a surge in your energies. That's only to be expected. And if I was to hear that you had been invited to take charge of a community-based project of some sort, I would not be in the least bit surprised. That's your magnetism, your magnetic personality. It draws people to you. They want to support you. They want to follow you. So, while it's there, make the most of it. Also, don't shy away from the responsibilities that are being offered to you. Right, I'll remember that one. Okay, 3 cards coming up. Let's deal them out and see what they have to offer. Okay. Wow. It really is happening for you, Sagittarius. You've got 3 major arcana cards, and generally it means there are huge changes heading your way. Just be ready for it to happen. Starting off with the Emperor. He is indicating that you are claiming control of your life and that you're not prepared to let anything hold you back. The sort of image I've got is Centaur Archer, you on a mission. Okay? The middle card is Judgment. Judgment is saying it's time to move on. It's time to start a new chapter in your book of life. As you become more aware of the momentum for change, it will speed up and become self-generating. You're up to it. You can cope with it. And whilst you hold the reins of your life, you have the power to steer where you end up. Now, finally, the Hermit. No, you're not going to live in a cave on a hillside. It's indicating that whatever project you decide to start is likely to be one that you start alone. And the Hermit is saying, go ahead, do your research, make sure you know where you're heading. And what you will be doing is laying the foundations for the next few years. So it's far reaching. Your level of excitement will be high because you'll be raring to go. And your energy and your enthusiasm will draw people to you when they are needed. And they will be ready, willing, and able to lend their help when you need it. Don't be afraid to ask. Okay, so, wow, an eventful week for you, Sagittarius. Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Lunarcraft and I'm here to present this week's AstroTarot predictions. And at the moment, I have my sights set on you, Capricorn. It's your turn. And as usual, I will start off with the general astrological information, moving on to anything that's more specific for you, and then your tarot cards. But before I start off, I want to just draw your attention to the fact that yes, the planets are moving as they should be, but at this time of the year especially, the influence of those planets is likely to be felt more intensely into the new year, into 2022. And while I mention 2022, I will be here in a couple of weeks to present an extended AstroTarot prediction for 2022. So I hope you'll be able to join me then. Right, moving on. We are still under, albeit, reducing the influence of the new moon solar eclipse that occurred in Sagittarius. Now, what that means in reality is that many of us will experience new beginnings, but we will also have the opportunity to close down a situation that has been hanging around since May of this year. So that will be good. The other thing that Sagittarius gives us is feelings of great optimism, a lot of hope for the future. So if you are feeling really hopeful about 2021 ending and 2022 starting, go with it, stick with it. It's all good. Now, I've previously spoken about Neptune and Venus. I'm going to raise both of them up again because their influence is still there. Firstly, Neptune. Neptune is the master of illusion, meaning that whatever you see may not be as accurate as you think it is. Be prepared to carry out research just to check it all out. The other implication is that this month, December 2021, is not a particularly good time for making major decisions or major changes. Now, moving on to Venus and her influence on all our relationships, not just romantic. Venus goes into her retrograde path this week, in fact, and that will translate into us experiencing changes within relationships. However, working alongside Venus is Chiron. Chiron is the site of healing, and under his influence, don't be surprised if past issues, unresolved issues from, I think, romantic relationships bubble up to the surface. What you are being offered is the opportunity to deal with those once and for all. Deal with them, heal from them, pack them away, store them away, forget about them. They are in the past. They no longer have any influence over you. So that means that you can move forwards with greater confidence. that there's no residue to come and interfere with what your plans are. Now, moving on to things that are more specific to you, Capricorn. I'm trying not to be too poetic, but you are about to experience a major revelation. And it's likely to relate to the spiritual aspect of your life. Now, it is going to be a big deal, and it may well lead you to evaluate the projects and or people or causes that you value the most. And it could well become a turning point for you. And as such, you are likely to need to devote more time and resources to those priorities. In turn, your personality will encourage others to step up and to give you their support. And again, it will enhance your career and your personal life, both of which will benefit equally. Now, moving on to your tarot cards. Okay, just getting them out now. 1 and 2 and that one, definitely. Okay, let's turn these over and see what we've got. Right, first up is the Star. I like the Star, but it really does, if you like, it gives you the cherry on the cake. And the message that if you can dream it, if you can imagine it, you can make it reality. That is what the universe is encouraging you to do right now. Make your wish. But as with any wish, be careful what you wish for. Make sure that it is going to be beneficial to you in the long term, rather than seeking instant gratification. Said it. Okay, now second and third cards I'm going to read together in combination. You've got the 3 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. Right. 3 of Wands, in fact, they're both giving the same basic message, and that is that you will find yourself in the middle of, I can't think how to decide, in the center of a social maelstrom, right? Everything's going on around you, spinning, spinning, spinning. But let's be honest, you will be in your element. And you will be the recipient of so much positivity, good wishes from all manner of people. Go ahead, throw yourself into the social maelstrom, okay, like never before. But the most important thing is that you have fun. You are in for one heck of a week. Enjoy it. Have fun. Hi. Thank you for joining me. I'm Lunarcraft. I'm here to present this week's AstroTarot predictions. And under the spotlight right now are Aquarians. Welcome, and I hope you like what you hear. Before I really get into it, I'm going to do astrology first, followed by the tarot cards. And something that I'd like you to just bear in mind is that, yes, the planets are moving. Yes, they're taking up the positions that we hope they will be in, or we know they will be in. But the major influences probably won't hit us until the beginning of 2022. And talking of 2022, I will be here in a couple of weeks' time giving extended AstroTarot predictions for 2022. So I hope you'll be able to join me. Now, let's look at what's actually happening at the moment. The new moon solar eclipse earlier this month is still having an effect. It's reducing, but it's still there. Now, what Sagittarius has brought into the mix is the promise of new beginnings for most of us. Also, many of us have been dealing with a particular situation since May of this year, and that is coming to an end. Yay! Thank goodness. But the major influence is that Sagittarius enables us to feel optimistic, hopeful for the future. So all good. Now, previously, I know I've spoken about Neptune and Venus. They are still around. Their influence is still impacting. Starting with Neptune, he is the master of illusion. So what it means in reality is you can't necessarily rely on what you see. It would be wise to check things out, do some research around what you are seeing in front of you. The other implication of that is this month, December 2021, is not a particularly good time to be making any major decisions or major changes. Moving on to consider Venus, she is influencing all relationships, not just romantic. Now, Venus moves into her retrograde path just this week. What that means in reality is that all relationships will face challenges and are likely to change. Now, alongside of that, we've got Chiron, who is the site of healing, and his influence, working in tandem with Venus, is that unresolved issues from previous romantic relationships are likely to rise to the surface, not to haunt you, but you are being given the opportunity to face them, to deal with them, to heal from them, to pack them up and stack them away. They are in the past. They no longer have influence over you, which means that you will be able to move forward in relationships with much greater confidence. Right, okay. Anything in my notes? Oh, yes, I remember. I was nagging you about making a decision that you've been putting off. I am sure you have made that decision, because I'm now seeing that you are concentrating your efforts on completing the mundane admin tasks that will enable you to move forwards with a clean slate. And I have to say, I'm really proud. I am proud of you, Aquarius, because I know it was difficult. Okay, let's look now at your tarot cards. 1 and 4 and that one, 3. Okay, let's get these turned over and see what's what. Okay, nice and very nice. Okay, you start off with the Ace of Cups. Beautiful card. It's all about the birth of something new. Now, that could be an actual pregnancy, but I feel it's probably going to be new love, new friendship, a new project or a hobby, something of that type. And go with what feels right to you. Never mind what anyone else might say. If it appeals to you, go with it. Now, the next 2 cards I'm going to combine. They are Strength and the Devil. The combination indicates that you will be feeling good about yourself, and quite rightly so. And the feeling will encourage you to live your life in a more positive way. You will identify habits and or thought patterns that really are no longer helpful to you, and you will find the ways to either turn them around or remove them. Okay? That means that there will be more room for you to grow, for you to develop. Wow, what a week. Okay, that's it for this week, Aquarius. Have a fabulous week. Hi, welcome for being here. Welcome to join me. Oh, whatever. You're very welcome. I'm Lunarcraft, and I'm here to present this week's AstroTarot predictions. And under my spotlight right now is Pisces. Oh, right. Starting off as usual with the general astrological information, moving on to look at anything that might be particularly directed at you, and then finally looking at 3 tarot cards for you. Now, before I set off on all the information, at this time of the year, yeah, the planets are moving. Yes, they're getting themselves into position, but the major influences probably won't be felt much before the new year. This is a time for preparing for the new year. So, while I talk about the new year, I will be here in a couple of weeks' time with an extended AstroTarot prediction for 2022 for each of the star signs. So I hope you'll be able to join me on that occasion. Now, looking at what's actually influencing us currently, we're still under the influence of the new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. What that has brought about is new beginnings for a lot of us. It's also giving many of us the opportunity to close down a situation that we've been dealing with since May of this year. Thank goodness. Okay, now the other major influence that Sagittarius brings us is great optimism, a lot of hope for the future. Make the most of it. You're not odd, you're not out of step by longing for this year to end, and it will soon enough. Right, in the past I have spoken about Neptune and Venus, and we are still under their influence. Looking at Neptune first, Neptune is the master of illusion, meaning that you can't necessarily rely on things that you see as being accurate or truthful. Be prepared to carry out research to check things out. What it means in reality is that this month, December 2021, is not a particularly good time for making major changes or major decisions. Just bear that in mind. Okay, moving on to look at Venus and her influence on relationships, all relationships, not just romantic. Venus is moving into a retrograde path just this week. And what it means is that our relationships will face challenges, will be changing. So just be prepared for that. But working in partnership with Venus is Chiron. Chiron is the site of healing. And the likelihood is that his influence will encourage unresolved issues from previous romantic relationships to bubble up to the surface. You are being given an opportunity to look at those, not to relive the hurt, but to deal with them once and for all. Deal with them, heal from them, pack them up, store them away. They are in the past. They cannot influence you anymore. And in reality, that means you will be able to move forward in other relationships with much greater confidence. Right, Pisces. If you can think it, you can and will achieve it. The indications are for you to become involved in an intellectual project, possibly publishing, possibly writing, taking up a course of study, something of that nature. Whatever you choose to do, it will result in you achieving financial stability. It's always good at the moment. Don't hide your talents. Don't shy away, because they can unlock a series of very fortunate events. Okay, moving on to your tarot section. One card. Oh, two cards. And that one. Three cards. Let's get them turned over, see what's coming up. Right, okay, beautiful. The Eight of Cups is the first card, and it's indicating that something isn't working too brilliantly for you at the moment. As you make the realization of what that situation is, you will find strategies are revealed to you, and it will then be the time for you to take decisive action that will enable you to move forwards with confidence. Okay, it's all within your power, within your control. Now, the next two cards I feel I need to read together. And you've got the Three of Pentacles and the Six of Wands. Now, my initial thoughts when I saw them was that they are waiting in the wings, if you like. They're waiting until circumstances become right, and they're relying on you dealing with the situation revealed by the Eight of Cups. It's not going to be long, but the Three of Pentacles is saying that you have an admirer and that they have a proposal to put to you. Now, I don't feel this is on the romantic side. It will more than make up for the unhelpful stuff that you've ditched. And in ditching, you've made room for new, better, more fulfilling things to enter your life. Now, the Six of Wands is reminding you that everything happens for a reason, including the current set of circumstances indicated by the Eight of Cups. This card, the Six of Wands, is waiting for that space to move in. And when it does, it will reveal the promise that is contained within it. There are strong indications that you will, in future, experience success, happiness, prosperity in the near future. So the sooner you deal with the Eight of Cups situation, the sooner you can move forwards. And you will do so very happily, very enthusiastically. Okay, Pisces, you've got a really interesting week ahead. Take the bull by the horns, deal with it, and be ready for good stuff to start flowing your way. Okay, that's it for now. I'll be back next week. I sincerely hope you will be able to join me. In the meantime, take care and bye-bye.